NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah has come out with his first mock draft of the 2025 cycle. Today, we're going to be going over each and every pick inside the first round, talking about some of the big surprises, why they make sense. And of course, I've been doing this for a little while, of course. Big into the NFL draft, really, for the past decade. I've been making content on it. Daniel Jeremiah has been doing it for a little bit longer, at a way more prestigious level. So he's going to have his finger on the pulse. He has contacts within the NFL. This first mock draft is a really good test to see how NFL evaluators, front offices, really feel about some of these players, and we can really establish a range of where these guys actually might go. There are, a number of highly respected analysts within the field. When you're talking about the top cream of the crop, Daniel Jeremiah, of course, is at the top there. So NFL mock draft 1.0, and he's going to put out a number. You can follow him at MoveTheSTI on Twitter and on NFL.com, but he's going to put out a number of these, I think maybe 3 or 4, could be even up to 5 between now and late April, but I think maybe 3 or 4, and things will change right now. He's got the Tennessee Titans at number 1, overall taking Abdul Carter from Penn State. My ears perked up when Titans president of football operations, Chad Brinker, said the team wouldn't pass on a generational talent with the first pick. To me, Carter is the best player in the draft, and he plays a premium position. I can see Tennessee looking to add competition for quarterback Will Levis in the free agent market, or later on in the draft. So this is interesting because we've kind of been here, like with Cam Ward, for a little while now. But even though there's an absolute case to be made for Abdul Carter or even Travis Hunter with this selection, I don't believe anything that, a president of football operations or a GM would say. What makes it interesting is the Titans are picking at number 1, so you would think if they were going to say anything, they might want to say they're looking at quarterback, potentially elicit a trade-up from the Giants, or even the Browns at number 2. That'd be a little bit surprising, especially the Raiders. That might not end up happening. Abdul Carter at number 1, I do agree. He's in contention to be the best player in the entire draft. Travis Hunter is going to be right there with me, though, and he is the number 2 selection to the Cleveland Browns quarterback, is in play here for the Browns. But in this scenario, they pick Hunter, the Heisman Trophy, winning two-way star. I'm in the minority as someone who prefers him as a full-time offensive player who moonlights on defense. It's an interesting thought that the Colorado offense didn't really utilize Travis Hunter, who is fullest potential, but where he really shined was in the red zone. I mean, his ball skills are absolutely incredible. He's a really, really talented corner, and I do view him in the majority as a corner who moonlights on offense, especially in the red zone. For Travis Hunter, though, it'd be really interesting to see him as a full-time wide receiver. But moonlighting on defense is such an interesting thing, because you think about these guys, you really have your CB 1 and 2, and then the nickel that are on the field a lot. DBS do rotate in, but your CB one's on the field, like every play on defense, right? So, moonlighting on defense, where are you going to play him? Is he going to be somebody that comes in the slot? Well, he's a really good boundary guy. Are you going to push somebody inside in that scenario? Are you going to try him at safety? It's definitely an interesting idea as we move to Cam Ward at number 3 here for the Giants. And you don't need much here. The Giants are desperate for a quarterback. It's true, Ward's strong arm and playmaking ability would be a great fit. The Giants need a quarterback. There really isn't a whole lot more that needs to be said there. But when does the first one go off the board? It's going to be an interesting thing to follow here over the next couple of months. But the Patriots at 4 go with Will Campbell from LSU, listed here is a tackle, not a guard. The Patriots must help Drake May on the offensive line. I see Campbell as a safe, steady player who is still improving. So we've said that maybe this isn't a class that sees a tackle or an offensive lineman in general go inside the top 5. But the Patriots here, and this is the interesting thing about that, Hunter Carter are off the board. Maybe you do decide to go with an offensive tackle instead. That's in play, I suppose. But Will Campbell here goes off the board. You do need to protect Drake May. I didn't think the value would be inside the top 5. I thought it would be more in the second round. Campbell's really good. I think a lot of NFL teams are going to view him as a guard because of the arm. Be the Last Genty is one of the more enjoyable players to study in this class. He's elite vision and balance, offering a massive upgrade in Dallas. I think it's just overall very true, very true. It's just a fit. The talent is there. Why are we overthinking it? As the Dolphins go with Kelvin Banks. Hook him. Dolphins going with the Texas offensive tackle. Nothing is more important for the Dolphins than protecting. To a tongue of Iowa, Banks could do that at tackle, or guard again, listed as a tackle, but potential for him to move inside as well. We've talked about that. And the Colts go back Longhorns. My favorite, Jay Barron, Indianapolis. Colts take the senior corner that has experienced in the nickel and, of course, in the boundary. This past season, Colts go with the Texas CB. I think you'll see the buzz around. Barron continue to grow. He possesses great quickness, instincts, and ball skills. Totally agree with that. I think if you can find a Trent McDuffie-type player, which Barron's a little undersized maybe, but the instincts are they are crazy in his instinctively playmaker in college football, arguably, over the past few seasons. He's been incredible. Of course, I suppose, to him as a Texas fan, but I've seen it firsthand. He's an incredible player, and I thought maybe the size and potential to be nickel or slot exclusive in the NFL, maybe push him down the board, the same way we saw with Brian Branch, who is undersized and didn't test incredibly well. Well, maybe that trend is going to start to go away, because we've seen Branch being an all-pro type of player, and Trent McDuffie being an all-pro player. Jay Barron here at 14. I absolutely love it. Horns up, but going ahead of Michigan's Will Johnson is also a surprise. A lot of people view him as a better player than Travis Hunter in this class. And while I've said I don't agree with that at all, seems like Daniel Jeremiah doesn't either. Will Johnson going here at number 15 to the Atlanta Falcons. Johnson is a polarizing player around the league. He provides size and production. Some questions emerged about his tackling and top speed. In 2024, obviously great ball skills, pick 6 machine there at Michigan. Great size, long arms, but injury knocked him out of 2024. Is he going to be consistent tackler? I've always said that, tackling is important at corner. I prefer a lockdown guy, but top speed may be more of a question that could definitely push him down the board. I guess we'll see if he tests post-injury, and we'll see what those times are if he indeed opts to go that way. But a lot of these top guys sit out. But here, first mock draft of the year for Daniel Jeremiah. Will Johnson is a fringe, first half of the first round pick. And we've seen him a lot solidified inside that top 10, as we've seen another player that I think could be a top 10 guy in Georgia's Jalen Walker to the Arizona Cardinals. At 16, Walker is a bit undersized as an edge rusher, but he offers an intriguing mix of length, explosiveness, and playmaking ability. Playoff ball, he's also a menace. Rushing the passer, definitely saw it against Texas, that's for sure. And this seems to be the type of guy the Cardinals take. Positionist linebackers, or where are they? Jalen Walker, Joy and Zav Collins, Isaiah Simmons, of course, was the same idea. I knew Monty Osin Fours making the pick. Now, I already know that compared to the previous regime, but Jalen Walker here to the Cardinals, they do need help off the edge. I think he's a good fit in their 34 Cincinnati Bengals. At 17, with Mississippi's Ole Miss defensive tackle, Walter Nolan transfer from A&M. He is a dynamic interior disruptor. He would be a key part of a turnaround under new Bengals defensive coordinator. Al Golden. Know their defense is really bad. Bengals could have been a playoff team. Defense couldn't get stops. I think, honestly, a lot of that's on just the personnel and not Luan Rumo, who, of course, has been canned. But, I think Nolan has big-time potential. He's someone I keep saying I think is going to go high in the draft. And then there's so many interior defensive linemen to try to get into the first round. It's just stacked on the defensive line. Nolan here at 17. I've had him, I think, as high as 13 of the Miami Dolphins. I might have considered him at 11. To the Niar's Cowboys at 12, I think was a possibility. I've had him high. But 17, it's good to see somebody else have him, especially higher in this draft number. 17 to the Cincinnati Bengals. As we go back to back defensive tackles, with Michigan's Kenneth Grant here to the Seattle Seahawks. Mike McDonald looks back to his old stomping grounds at Michigan to select Grant, who would be a part of a great interior trio with Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy. Look him keep in mind that Jared Reed and Jonathan Hankins are headed for free agency. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think you're looking at a team here that is just actually pretty solid with guys, healthy back on defense. It's tough to point to a number of different holes they have.